done their homework, and they really started it by piecing together everything about the Hoovers. Now, you know, we got some high-profile names on this case. Y'all know we got Lady Duck as the lead defendant on this case. And a lot of people ask, how's the only female on this case the lead defendant? For y'all that's in the city, y'all that heard her name before, y'all may know her. You already know Lady Duck is not playing. She was already sitting down on a state case for 30 flocks and had a release date, and now the feds have put the squeeze on her, and they finna take everybody down to MDC. And just to give y'all an idea of what Lady Duck got going on in this indictment, the feds got somebody on tap trying to sell Lady Duck a female for a rack. And if Lady Duck didn't want her, they said they was gonna sell her organs across the border. Lady Duck replied, what she look like? So that's the type of role they allege Lady Duck is playing in this indictment. But not only is Lady Duck on here, y'all know.
Yeah, bruh. Sound like they was trying to drive a hard bargain, bruh. Make her an offer she couldn't refuse, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? Convince her without convincing her. It's really some crazy shit, bruh. I really wonder what happened to the little girl, you know what I'm saying? But we is finna get some insight as to what happens, you know what I'm saying, to a lot of these victims, bruh. Allegedly this, that, and the third. Cartel members spilling the beans, bruh.
Okay, I already know why you're here. You know, some of y'all are here because y'all wanting part 2 of what happens to the girls that get human trafficked. I already explained in part 1 what happens when they get captured and sent to those buildings until their client comes. Now, I'm about to explain what happens when the client comes to buy those girls. So, let's get started. So, when those girls get caught and when the human traffickers have a hold of them, they wait until the client comes, and when the client comes, and once he buys the girl, they're usually being put into a vehicle that has no windows like a van, or, you know, some sort of vehicle that they can easily hide them in. And usually, the client, well, sometimes the client, you know, doesn't look like a criminal at all. Sometimes it looks like an, you know, like the everyday Joe. Because, you know, as I said before, some of these clients are, you know, are people that you would never expect, people that you think that you could trust.
You know, they say the truth stranger than fiction, bro. Get this, he called them clients.
Like, you know, judges, or, you know, I've never seen a police chief come in there, but I've heard of it before. I've heard of happening it before. And, let's see, you know, just, you know, people like that you would just never expect, or some rich ass motherfucker, you know what I mean? And basically, what those clients do with those girls, well, there's a variety of things. Let's get started. First one, they turn those girls into breeders. A breeder is basically when that happens, they go ahead and they get bought, and it's sad to say, but alright, my bad. There was a little girl and her mom or her sister or whoever the was walking past me, and I feel bad. Alright, so look, a breeder is basically when a client buys a girl from the cartel or off any human trafficking organization or family, and they buy the girl, they get her pregnant, and they keep her nice and healthy for the 9 months.
A breeder. You know what I'm talking about? You done took somebody's family member, bro, somebody's child, bro, and called them a breeder.
Months of, you know, that she's pregnant, so the baby comes out healthy. Because, you know, he sells the baby. And depending on who the client is, depends, you know, on, if what happens to the baby ends up being bad or good. Because sometimes these clients are, you know, widows, or they're mothers who have lost children to death or to CPS that are extremely rich. And like sometimes they're not allowed to have kids, so they buy them off, you know, the client, and or off the cartel sometimes, because you know they do that sometimes as well. And let's see, or the sad batch that happens to those babies is that sometimes, you know, there's birth complications, right? And sometimes those babies end up dead because of those birth complications. And I'm not talking about the baby that was given birth to by the breeder. I'm talking about like moms, you know, who go to the hospital.
So he basically saying like if say like somebody is born with a birth defect, or you know what I'm talking about, they use the little breeder babies as like you know, like replacement babies type shit, like basically like car parts, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? You know, when something break on your car and then they gotta replace it like that, bruh.
They give birth, there's birth complications sometimes, and sometimes the baby won't survive. So with that being said, sometimes those babies that get, you know, given birth to by the breeder, they end up getting used. So then, you know, the organs get taken out, or whatever that baby needs, you know, that had the birth complication gets, you know, whatever it needs from the from the baby that got birthed by the breeder. So sometimes, you know, that happens, and it's pretty sad, you know what I mean? It's really up because the mother that's going, because the breeder that's giving birth to these babies, it mentally it scars them for life. You know, at that point, like, they don't even want to live anymore. They're like, they beg for death. And the sad part is, she can't even have death. It's just gonna keep happening, and there's no way that no one can stop it. She can't stop it. You know what I mean? There's a very slight chance that it will never stop.
See, bro sound too experienced. You know what I'm talking about? He sound like he got too much inside knowledge, bro. You know what I'm talking about? This shit ain't good, fool.
You know? And sometimes those babies that get birthed by the breeder, they don't always get sold as babies. Sometimes the client will have a business of his own, obviously, as I was, you know, just speaking about, and, you know, they go ahead and they, you know, and they let that kid grow up a little bit, you know, like maybe they're 10 years old or 7 or 8, you know, and whenever a mom needs, you know, or whatever, like, a mom, you know, needs, like, you know, a replacement son or replacement daughter, or needs the organs of another kid to save their kid's life, that's what they usually go for. And that's, like, usually, like, the main purposes. Or sometimes falls by them as well, and it's just absolutely disgusting. I'm so against it. It makes me so mad. It angers me so much, you have no idea. That is the one client I do not respect.
He talking about that is the one client I don't respect. Bruh, you shouldn't respect none of these clients, bruh. This is some human trafficking shit, bruh. These people is, you know, all type of shit happening to these people. You acting like, here you go with the lesser of two evils, bruh. This shit wow, though. And then, you know, it's a tricky thing, bro, because you never know who involved in this shit. Look at bro, he look normal. He just look like he walking down the street. The kid and her mama who was walking down the street probably don't know what illicit activities he done been involved in, bro. Don't know they just walked past a psychopath.
Sorry, my bad. I'm just letting my feelings get over me right now. Alright, so let's continue. You know, sometimes pedophiles buy them. And that's sad too. You know what? I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about something else. And I guess the same thing that happens to those babies, or those babies that end up growing up, you know, the same thing that happens to them is kind of the same thing that happens to those girls that get bought by other clients. And sometimes other clients, you know, if they're not doing that, then the clients buy girls to, you know, they just buy them simply just to torture them to death. And, you know, sometimes these people are doctors or surgeons. People, as I say, it'd be people that you would never expect. Rich-ass surgeons, or, you know, rich-ass doctors and shit from rich-ass towns will come all the way over here. And since they know what the they're doing, they know how to keep the girl alive for as long as they possibly can. They know how to keep them alive for a long time.
Real movie shit, bro. You got to admit that, bro. So you telling me, like you know, on a scary movie, when the doctor, bro, you know, he'd be a psychopath doctor or some shit, and he'd drug the patients. He'd have a whole dungeon full of them, bro. Type shit. He's telling us that it be real life professionals going to go, you know, buy illicit shit. People, bro. You know what I'm talking about? On some human trafficking type shit. This shit is wild. Nasty work.
Inflicting as much pain as they possibly can without them. It's really good. Or sometimes these girls get bought from, you know, really rich royal families from overseas, like Colombia, or you know, or families down in India. You know what I mean? Like, you know, real royal families come down here as well, and they go ahead and they buy a girl to marry and all that. You know, a beautiful woman to marry. That's just what they do sometimes. So yeah, that's another type of client that pops up in those buildings sometimes. Let's see. Oh, and also in some very, very, very rare cases. Yeah, as I was saying, and also in some very rare cases, those girls that get caught get kidnapped end up getting bought back. By the family. You know what I mean? Kind of like a hostage situation.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, bro. And bro seemed like he having flashbacks and hella shit. Like, that shit stuck on his brain, bro. Cartel gonna get him for spilling the shit. He ain't say too much, but he said too much at the same time. It's crazy.
Type shit. Like, oh, you want your daughter back here? Or, oh, you want your mom back? You want your, like your niece, your aunt? All right, pay this much. And we'll usually charge him the same amount as any other client would buy, you know what I mean? Or pay for it. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then at other times, I've had clients, request, girls that look really, 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 really similar to people that they know or love. So, like, some psychopaths will go ahead and buy girls that look exactly like their ex-wife that they killed off. And then, they just keep bringing them back and killing them. Or sometimes they, buy a girl that looks exactly like their ex-wife because they just want them to take their place. And all that, right? Crazy shit. And a lot of similar things happen with other clients. Like they'll give us a picture and we'll find a girl that looks exactly like that girl. So then they can be, the replacement in the family. You know what I mean? Or some serial killer that just wants to kill the same girl over and over again in his mind. So yeah, that's the main gist of what happens to these girls. I mean, I'd tell you more, but I can go on and on. I'm thinking you guys are getting tired of it already. So I'm going to come up with a different topic to talk about in the next one. See you guys later. Peace out.
Nah, we ain't never tired of trying to save the children, bro. Save innocent people, victims, whatever. Hey, you spreading awareness of it at least. This shit sound diabolical, bro. He say some people will have them go look for people that look like people that they didn't already kill. You know what I'm talking about? And so they could keep... Bruh, this shit diabolical. It's some nasty. I hope Lady Duck bought that girl, bruh. And see, the lesser of two evils, see how that shit'll work out, bruh. Because ain't no telling what they was going to do to her. Where she was going to end up with the cartel. Ah, bruh. Yeah, man. I ain't going to lie to you. This shit, right? When you hear certain things like this, that's why I used to go to them little websites, the cartel websites, and they cut people head off and do hella little shit like that, right? It help you realize, bro, that it's, the world is balanced. Yeah, you might think just because you don't see hella heinous, weird, crazy shit every day in your life, and then sometimes you be like I was on some how deep the rabbit hole go type shit, and you see it and you like, oh, this is a realization. This shit serious out here, man. They not playing, bro. They will buy and sell your ass. You want to talk about? It's not good, man. Pray for the children. Pray for keep your eyes on your phone. And it really be some diabolical shit going on at home too, bro. You know what I'm talking about? And then the child or whoever's the victim, right, will realize like, oh yeah, it can get worse type shit. Especially you run across someone like him. He out here in the free world, bro. Talking about, yeah, we used to grab this and used to do what? You free, bro? Yeah, this shit diabolical. And then not only is you free, but you spilling the beans on the tail. They liable to cut your helmito off, bro. I didn't see too many videos where they didn't cut niggas' heads off, bro. They didn't cut groups of heads off. Girls and everything. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you gotta cut the video off before it get too graphic, blood, or hope they blurred it. Shit serious. But shit, man, y'all niggas, let me know what y'all think, bro. You think Lady Duck bought that girl, bro? Or you think they organ harvested her, bro? This a big chest. She got organ harvest. It is some nasty work, bro. Nothing to be, y'all niggas, let me know what y'all think. We on to the next one, bro, for sure. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think about this shit, bro.
Out to W.I.G TV in here. W.I.G TV.
Somebody did it.
He got his name, W.I.G TV.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, WIG TV,
Hey, I
man.
fuck with you, my nigga. I ain't... Wiz Gang, shout out. Hey, that's the king of Northern California right there. Y'all subscribe to Wiz Gang TV.
Keep playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, ho, keep playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, ho, I can't playing with that paper, ho.